Hey, high levelers, Rio Daniel here. And in this video, what we're going to do is continue the series on the sort of new people that have recently joined High Level from the flood of the Thanksgiving, the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday, all the end of year specials. We've got a bunch of people that have been coming on board, and getting their account set up and starting to do business has becoming a challenge. And I wanted to create this video as a second part of a series to help people do with onboarding. So one of the biggest things that people have a struggle with is what we did in our last video, which is dealing with SaaS plans and pricing. So what is it that we're selling here? So High Level has just, I'm going to take a step back, and there's a couple things that people struggle with when getting involved with High Level. First one is to get their account set up in order to even do business, to even get ready to do business within their own sub account. Okay. I'm not going to be discussing that in this video. I'll discuss that on a different video. The previous video, SaaS plans and pricing, that was released, goes over how to build the service plans that you're looking to sell to customers. So that's the next step, is once you get your account set up inside of High Level and begin doing business, you have to then to determine what it is that you're looking to sell and then who you're looking to target. So that's what the last video was. This video is strictly going to be talking about onboarding, which means, great, now that you've come up with your plans and pricing and you've talked to your customers and you've sold them, now what? Now, how do you begin integrating them? What are some of the things that you need to consider and think about whenever you're integrating them into High Level? And what does that onboarding process look like? So let's talk about that. And by the way, I am supporting the latest fashion of gear here, the Highly gear provided by High Level. So thank you very much, High Level, for providing me my little Honolulu shirt with the Highly logo on it right here. So thank you so much for that. And let's hop in and take a look at some of the onboarding process. Alrighty here. So right now, first of all, I hope you don't want to take any of these notes. I'm going to give you this document here a little bit later on here. I'll share the link of where you're going to get this document at, so you don't have to write any of this stuff down. So please just listen, review it, maybe take some separate side notes, but I am going to give you the document here. Okay. So moving on to onboarding here. Onboarding really is the process from when your client, the small business that you're helping, says, yes, I want to buy your services, to the point at which you can start charging your client services for the package that you're providing for them. So what happens everywhere and all steps in between is part of your onboarding process. So these are at least a document that's going to help you understand how to build that, what to think about whenever you're doing so. And depending upon your package, onboarding could look different. Now, there's not one size fit all when it comes to onboarding, because onboarding, as you can imagine, really depends upon your client. It depends upon the package that you're selling, the features that you're selling, because you'll have to customize your onboarding process for that particular purpose. Now, I'm just going to give you an example. In the previous video, when we deal with SaaS plans and pricing, we talked about a couple of different models with regards to packaging. We had the typical High Level, essentials, professional, and premium plans, but then we also had the ability to do AI plans, like coming up with if you want to build an AI agency around the AI employee system inside of the High Level platform, what you can sell and what packages of pricing that you can configure there. Now that we've seen those two, configuring onboarding for the first package will be different than setting up onboarding for the second AI package. Okay, so hopefully you can understand that. So there is one of the things that a lot of my affiliates always struggle with is thinking that there is just one onboarding document that you can just simply download, perform these steps, and then your client is set up and configured. And that's just simply not the case. Your onboarding process has to be configured for your specific service for the packages that you're selling. So I hope that makes sense. So right now, what I want to do here is, this is just a simple Google document. Let me blow this up a little bit. So here we have I call it the High Level Client Onboarding SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. That's comes back from my military background for SOP. So anyway, right now, again, one of the things I would configure here is, I'm more of an automations person here. I like to utilize technology to minimize the amount of work that I need to do, and also be able to scale and maximize how many people I could push through my system all at one time without having to do a lot of manual work and manual data entry and things like that. So having said that, some of the things that you'll need to consider here is, definitely there's some information that you're going to need to gather. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But if you're going to build this out, when we build this out, it will depend upon what plan you have. That's another factor in the onboarding process. If you have the Agency Pro account, which is the one I always recommend, by the way, as an affiliate, if you're looking to upgrade, there is a 30-day free trial link in the video description below. Just a little plug for me. But if you've got the Agency Pro account, it makes things much easier, because you can use the SaaS configurator automation to be able to automate the client process, the client account creation, sub-account creation, all of that information, at least the first part of the onboarding process, can be done for you automatically. If you do have the starter or the unlimited plan, then unfortunately you will have to do this manually. So I just want to let you know that right up front, this is how the onboarding process will differ depending upon your plan. Now, regardless of that, I always recommend people build a funnel. Okay. Funnels are great things. Funnels are a great way to take information and actually walk people through a sales process, meaning if they're going to sell them a package, they can buy the package through your funnel. And from the same funnel, you can gather all the information that we're going to talk about here and perform all the automations on the back end that makes it easier for your team to sit back and do some of the automation and onboarding stuff that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. So building a funnel out for that is something I would absolutely recommend versus doing something manually. Now, if you don't know, you can build a funnel very quick and easily in Highlevel. You get it unlimited funnels with your account, so you don't need to worry about any of that. If you do need some help, there are people out there specifically in the marketplace. There might even be funnels out there that you can simply buy, that you can put in place and save yourself a lot of time, energy, and effort. So right now, definitely build it with the funnel. That's my recommendation. Now, here's some of the things that you're going to need to collect right here for your particular client. You're going to need to know their business name, the client's first name and last name. You need a space here, but the client's first name and last name, the client's email address. Okay. All of these things are basic information, the phone number for the business, the client time zone, and even default language. All of these, if you've ever set up a sub account, you know that these are basic property settings that you need to configure inside of the sub account for that particular client. Keep in mind, if you're dealing with clients in the US or in Canada, things like that, then the language is probably going to be English. But if you've got people overseas, then you might want to very well change the default language to one of the other languages that Highlevel has, so that when your clients log in, they see their language and not the default English language. That could confuse them, obviously. So right now, another thing that you're going to need to do is have their EIN number. This is only necessary if you need to do the A2P registration. So again, from the last video that we created, if you do plan on doing things with an AI agency, there are possibilities, that you do not need to do A2P registration depending upon the package that you're looking to sell. So right now, the A2P registration, again, is going to be up to you depending upon what you're selling them, the services that they need, and so forth. So hopefully that makes sense. And what is the best way to actually gather all of this data? It's using a form. So please follow me on this. I don't really have a funnel that I want to show you. I didn't want to bias you by putting a funnel up here that you should simulate, because your funnel is really going to be indicative of your sales process. So when somebody, let's just say you have a client that's looking to buy your package, okay? You're going to send them over to your funnel. Your funnel is going to say, what package do you want? Now, again, we talked about all the packages in the previous video for this series, but let's just say you're dealing with AI and they want to do the full AI employee. I think the one that was like $500. So they want to do that. They click the button to select that particular plan. That goes to a sales page where it charges them for $500 for that particular plan so they can pay for it to begin the setup process. And once they actually do that, now, once they go through the sales process, a part of your funnel can now have an onboarding form. The next step in the funnel, once you say thank you or whatever on that thank you page, you can simply have a link that just says, click here to take you to gather some additional data for your onboarding process. They click on that to go to a form. The form can include all of this information that you see right here. Now, if you don't really have custom fields created, then this is where you need to create custom fields to hold all of the particular data like the EIN number and things like that for your particular client. But the form is a great process in order to be able to do that. And then you can store all that information at the contact level inside of the CRM. So once you do that, then there's other things that you can do as well. For instance, if you did want to schedule an onboarding call for a little bit later, you can actually have a calendar on the next step of the funnel. Once you gather this data, it then takes you to an onboarding call. And then that call can be scheduled again, let's just say 2 weeks out or a week out, however long that you want to push that out. And they can select a time and date where now, once you have their information, once they purchase a package from you, now you've got an onboarding sort of call set up later on to finalize some of the things that we're going to be talking about here and give you a little bit of time to get their account created, get it set up and get it ready to go. So that when you do have the onboarding call, you can fine tune all the things again that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. So next thing is we're going to be dealing with creating the client sub account. That's going to be the next thing that you need to do. Now, building the funnel is one thing. The funnel is actually going to allow you to collect payment, allow you to have some of the automations run behind the scenes, things like that. Now, if you have the starter on the unlimited plan, you will need to create automations that will let your team know, whether that be an email or if you're using a pipeline, whatever that is, you're going to have to let your team know or even yourself know that, hey, I just got a new sale. Somebody went to my funnel and they bought the package. Now I have to get their account created. Okay. So gone through your funnel that we talked about here. They've chosen the package. They paid for it. They did the onboarding form. They've scheduled the onboarding call. And now that funnel is completed. And now your automations start kicking off saying, hey, now it's time for you to get their account created. Okay. Now, Again, I need to point out the benefit of the Agency Pro account. If you do have the Agency Pro account, inside of that same funnel process, the SaaS configurator can automatically create their sub account for them and even create the admin user account based upon the first name and last name that you gathered from the form in your funnel. So that part can be automated, at least here. If you have the starter unlimited, it's a manual process. So that's all this creating the sub account means, that if it's whether you have to do it manually or whether it's automated. But the first step is actually getting the sub account created, getting their location and getting their information put into a sub account, where now you can start building out your service package within that sub account to allow you to start charging them every single month for the service and package that you have. Hopefully that makes sense. So now we're going to finish setting up their sub account. Here's some of the things that you're going to need to consider. And again, this isn't in all, this isn't 100% accurate. I've just tried to throw together as much stuff as I can think about. Depending upon your situation, you may have other steps involved here as well. But again, for this, if you have the Agency Pro plan, the SaaS configurator can create and do some of the sub account creations for you. But once you actually have their account created, the next step you may need to do is bring in all of their customers inside of the CRM. That's going to be downloading from their current CRM or getting it into some form of a CSV file that's going to allow you to import that into Highlevel and go through the import process. Now, if you need to do that, I have a great video on my YouTube channel on how to import contacts. Take a look at it so you don't get stuck there. Now, next thing is you're going to need to transfer their business domain. So if you're going to be transferring their website over, or if you're going to be doing any kind of funnels, or if they're going to be doing any kind of website business traffic inside of your package, then you need to transfer domains over. Okay. So any of the domains, that's going to be the next step that you need to do inside of here. Now, if they're going to be running Google or Facebook ads, of course, you're going to need to get admin access to their ads manager. Again, if you're not going to be doing that, it's part of your package, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay. If you're not selling ads, but getting at least access to that, or whoever's handling that for your team, because you might actually outsource the ads part to another partner versus doing it in-house. That's very common. So next thing is, if you're going to build a website, either if you have a snapshot, if you already have a snapshot created, then you need to either configure the website or build it, get it configured, get it set up. But that's the next thing on your list, or next thing for your team to be able to do is to get that set up and ready to do business. Get it branded with their logo, configure any calendars, things like that they need, and then getting those calendars synchronized with maybe a company calendar or personal calendar, so that now availability and so forth can be seen on that calendar, so you don't double book appointments. So getting the calendar appointment set up, if calendaring is not a part of what you're doing, then don't worry about it. You don't need to do that step. Okay. So again, this is where it's customized based upon what you're looking to do. But if you are dealing with a service-based company, then you may very well be doing scheduling. If you don't have a calendar created in a snapshot where you can share it, then you'll have to create the calendar manually, get it all set up, synchronize it, do all of that other kind of good stuff, get it customized if you're going to customize the calendar and so forth. So next is going to be getting all the business accounts set up for the employees. So if it's just one owner, then perfect. But if the owner has a couple of different people, like an office admin or some other people that need to be set up, then you'll need to set up all the employee accounts. And you'll also have to set up the security, whether or not they're going to be an admin, a user, what parts of the system they're going to need access to. This right here might need to deal with the client, meaning you're going to have to talk to them to find out what level of access you want some people to have. I hope that makes sense. Next thing we're going to have is setting up a phone number, getting the phone number set up, doing any of the A2P registrations. All of that stuff is going to be necessary if you're going to be doing outbound texting. So that's another thing that, again, you have to do on your task list: buy a phone number, get the A2P registration. And again, if you look here, you're going to need all of this information here as far as their EIN number and things like that to get that A2P registration done and at least submit it to get finished. Now, this is where, when you're starting with your client, if you are going to be doing A2P registration and you already know that up front, you might want to give yourself at least 2 weeks, if not 3, to get the A2P registration finished before you're going to officially start doing business with the client, because they won't be able to be 100% set up with the automations and the outbound texting until the A2P registration is completed. So you might want to give yourself a little buffer, because if you don't, the A2P registration can take a little bit of time to get done and finished. Sometimes it can be quick. Other times it can take a couple of weeks. So again, moving on, getting their Google Business Profile, Facebook integrations all set up. That's going to need to be done. Payment processor, if they're going to be accepting payments inside of the system, if they're going to be using Stripe or one of the other payment processors, you're going to have to get that set up or either connect their account, which means that if they already have a Stripe account, then maybe during the onboarding call that you've already got set up, you're going to be able to sit back and have them log in and integrate the Stripe account to their account. So you don't even know that username and password. They could do that themselves over the Zoom call. But that's going to need to be done regardless if they're going to be able to sell anything or do anything that requires accepting payments inside of the Highlevel platform. So moving on, if they're going to be dealing with Social Planner, then you're going to need to get all their social media accounts configured. And then from there, again, you can start doing any of your posting and scheduling, but you need to at least get their login. They're going to have to click on integrated, get their account set up initially. And then at that point, you can configure all the notifications of whether or not the accounts are about to expire. Because, inside of Highlevel, you do have to go refresh your accounts with Facebook and Instagram probably every month or two. You're going to have to go in and reconnect or refresh the accounts. And then Highlevel can actually notify you when that's about to expire. So you can log in and refresh those. So that's another thing you're going to have to do. If you're selling reputation management, you're going to have to get SMS and email templates set up. So I don't know if you want to utilize those or not, or if you have your own reputation management system. By the way, just a little plug. I do have a reputation management snapshot that I offer for free. I'll give the link in this particular video, but it's just snapshots.rayodaniel.com. That gives access to all of my free snapshots. I do have a one for reputation management that makes it easier for you to configure all this. Just download it for free, use it. I just wish you guys nothing but the best, which is why I created it for you. So again, selling reputation management, you will need to get the templates created if you plan on using those. And if you're going to be using a snapshot, this is where either you need to create the account, the sub account with the snapshot, or you're going to have to deploy all the items from your snapshot to the account manually, however you want to do it. But either way, if you already have a snapshot, which again, I offer a lot of them for free, all of that stuff can be deployed afterwards. You can manually say, take the stuff from the snapshot and put the calendar, put the reputation management templates, put the forms, put the surveys, put the funnels that I have all inside of the sub account. So then once you have them there, now all you have to do is customize them for the particular person or client, making it much easier for you to move forward. But if you are going to be using snapshots, then there is going to have to be some level of customization to either the funnels, the forms, the workflow automation, something you're going to have to configure manually to make sure that these actions and so forth inside the workflow are set up correctly. And you might even want to test them before you make them go live, but you're going to have to publish them. And then at that point, the system can go live and now the automations are working. So that's another thing that you're going to have to consider. And then finally, the last thing is if you're going to be dealing stuff with AI employee, once you turn that particular feature on, there are some additional things that you need to configure, like getting the AI agent configured. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel on configuring the AI agent. How do you program it? How do you have it do forward calls? Things like that. It gives you a whole other thing to think about with regards to the AI agent. Now, if you're not familiar, the AI agent is the tool inside of Highlevel that will answer incoming phone calls. It's really going to be a replacement to the missed call text back. Because if people are going to start using the AI agent, then the missed call text back feature really is just going to go away because it's not really going to be used anymore because the AI agent is going to be able to answer the phone call all the time. So there'll never be a missed call. Hopefully that makes sense. So getting the AI agent configured is the next thing for your client because you'll have to customize that and program it to or train it to what you want it to do. Also, if you're going to be dealing with the website chat widget, you're also going to be, my favorite is using the live chat along with the conversation AI to actually answer questions from your client in real time. So if you're going to be doing that, you need to train the conversation AI agent, the bot, if you will, on how to respond to the questions and answers. So that's another step if you're selling this that you will need to get configured. And that's going to be configured depending upon your client or even the niche that your client is in. Okay. So obviously the AI bot is going to be different for a roofing company versus a landscaping company versus a dentist. They're all going to be different. So it's going to be up to you to program the bot on how to answer those particular questions. And I have a whole other series of videos regarding how to train the conversation AI. So don't worry about that. You can watch the other videos on my YouTube channel. It shows you how to do all of that, how to train them and how to build this information so that as you go from one client to the second to the third, you can reuse that same training on multiple clients as long as they're still within the same niche. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, last and finally, is you're going to be dealing with the review AI. If you're selling reputation management, again, review AI is a part of the AI employee. So that right there is where you will need to configure your auto responses and how you want to configure that so that not only do you have the front end workflow automations that automatically request the reputation management once somebody finishes an appointment, or however you set that up initially, the automation piece that sends the customers the review request. Now you're actually going to configure the backend system to where the reviews are automatically replied to using the review AI system. And then at that point, the client has a fully hands-off reputation management system that you're looking to sell them. So guys, right now, I hope you found this video useful. And by the way, if you're looking for this right here, I'm going to leave a link to this document below in the description so you can click and just download this because I don't want you writing any of this stuff down. There's no need. I'll be happy to share it with you. Again, keep in mind some of the other resources regarding the snapshots. Go take a look at them. I've got about half a dozen snapshots that you can download. Take myself. Take everything I've got. Go make some money out of it. Now, I would just simply ask one thing, that if you are looking to upgrade inside of Highlevel, you use my affiliate link in the description below. If you are looking to implement the AI employee, there's a one-time affiliate activation code for that. If you are looking to use me, you'll get all my bonuses and benefits, regardless of whether you use my code. And my code is just Ray O'Daniel, RayOdaniel. All is one word. Ray O'Daniel is my affiliate code. You can put that into your AI employee. You'll get all the benefits for me by doing so, because it will show up that you've registered under me. And I just appreciate it, because that's the way that I get compensated and I can continue to make these videos on this channel. So hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully you found that this at least is giving you a way to move forward, some thoughts and ideas, to start getting those cons in your brain turning. I hope you found it useful. If you did, click on the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Guys, thank you so much for visiting my channel and have a great day. Bye-bye.